Have you ever looked deep into your cat's captivating eyes and wondered what secrets they are keeping from you? We often joke about our feline friends being aloof or hilariously unpredictable. But the truth is, beneath that calm and graceful exterior lies a complex creature whose ancient wild instincts are still very much intact. Cats are masters of disguise, inheriting a stoic poker face from their wild ancestors. In the wild, showing even the slightest sign of weakness or illness makes an animal an easy target for larger predators. To survive, they learned to suffer in silence. However, your cat is communicating with you every single day. They speak volumes to you through the gentle swish of a tail, the subtle tilt of an ear, and the arch of their spine. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain and decode the subtle, sometimes bizarre behaviors that are actually cries for help. The Meatloaf posture versus the cat loaf. You almost certainly know and love the classic cat loaf. It is that endearing posture where your cat tucks all four paws neatly beneath their body, wraps their tail around themselves, and rests peacefully with soft, half-closed eyes. A cat loaf is a beautiful symbol of trust and contentment. But there is a darker, much more painful version of this adorable pose, the meatloaf. When your cat assumes a meatloaf posture, they are not relaxing. Their spine will be noticeably arched, their head will be lowered below their shoulders, and they might lean forward slightly to bear weight on their front limbs. Why do they do this? They are instinctively trying to protect injured or diseased vital internal organs, or they are desperately attempting to relieve the excruciating pressure of arthritic hips and joints. If your cat stops stretching out to sleep and instead stays locked in this tense, compact stance, they aren't just chilling out. They are hurting, and they need you to notice their pain. The silent cry of the feline grimace. We often assume that cats simply don't show pain on their faces. Unlike dogs, who might whimper or give us sad eyes, cats seem unreadable. But behavioral science tells a very different story. Veterinary researchers have developed what is known as the Feline Grimace Scale to successfully decode the silent, pained language of a cat's face. I want you to look very closely at your cat's whiskers. Normally, when a cat is feeling content and safe, their whiskers curve gently downward, resting loose and relaxed against their cheeks. But when a cat is in acute pain, those whiskers pull completely straight, becoming incredibly tense and angle sharply forward away from the face. Now, watch their ears carefully. A comfortable, happy cat has relaxed, forward-facing ears. A hurting cat will rotate them outward or flatten them completely against their skull into airplane ears. And their eyes? Instead of wide, curious stares or affectionate, slow blinks, you might see them squinting or keeping their eyes tightly closed, paired with a tense, elliptical muzzle. They are wincing. Once you learn to read this subtle facial tension, it feels like a revelation. Your cat has been trying to tell you exactly how they feel all along. It's a quiet afternoon in your home, and suddenly you hear a sharp, distressing meow coming directly from the litter box. It's incredibly easy to brush this off as a cat habit, but vocalizing while trying to go to the bathroom is a massive red flag. If your cat, especially if you have a male cat, is making frequent trips to the litter box, straining and crying out with little to no urine produced, this is not a behavioral issue. It is a life-threatening medical emergency. This agonizing behavior is the hallmark of a severe urinary blockage, meaning toxins are rapidly building up in their bloodstream because they cannot pee. Alternatively, you might notice your older, senior cat avoiding the litter box entirely or standing awkwardly while urinating. Why? Because stepping over the high plastic sides of a standard litter box sends agonizing shocks through their arthritic joints. They aren't acting out of spite, they are in agony. The midnight howl. The house is completely dark, everyone is fast asleep, and suddenly, a haunting howl echoes from the hallway. Many owners of senior cats know this sound intimately. When you are sleep-deprived, it's remarkably easy to assume your cat is just being demanding. But that midnight yowling is a profound distress signal. As our beautiful cats age, their brains physically change. They can develop feline cognitive dysfunction syndrome, a neurological condition that is strikingly similar to human dementia. In the dark, failing senses make their familiar, beloved home feel like a terrifying maze, and they cry out because they are genuinely lost and anxious. Other times, this nighttime restlessness is driven by an overactive thyroid, pushing their metabolism into a jittery, heart-pounding overdrive that won't let them sleep. It could also be high blood pressure, causing hidden headaches and profound disorientation. They aren't trying to keep you awake for fun. They are calling out for their best friend to save them from the dark. We all adore it when our cats gently bunt or bump their soft little heads against our hands, legs, or faces. It's a beautiful greeting, depositing calming pheromones to tell you, "I love you." But there is a chilling, highly unusual behavior that looks somewhat similar, yet means something entirely, devastatingly different. Head pressing. If you ever find your cat standing perfectly still, deliberately and persistently pressing the top or front of their head against a blank wall, a closed door, or a piece of hard furniture for prolonged periods for no apparent reason, do not ignore it. They are not playing a cute game, and they are not resting. Head pressing is a compulsive behavior and a severe, critical neurological warning sign that requires immediate action. It strongly indicates a massive disruption in the brain or central nervous system, which could easily be caused by toxic poisoning, a growing brain tumor, sudden liver failure, or a dangerous infectious disease. Your cat is literally pushing their skull against a hard surface because the internal pressure, blinding pain, or neurological misfiring is completely overwhelming. It is an absolute drop-everything veterinary emergency. When they do this, they are relying entirely on you to realize something is critically wrong and to save their life. Hyperesthesia and the rolling skin. Let's talk about the strange phenomenon of the twitchy cat. You might be gently, lovingly petting your cat's back, and suddenly their skin starts aggressively rippling and rolling like water, reacting to a sudden wind. Their pupils instantly dilate to giant black saucers. They might frantically attack their own tail, or they dart across the room at lightning speed, as if escaping a terrifying, invisible enemy. This isn't just an eccentric, playful burst of crazy energy. It's a highly recognized medical condition known as feline hyperesthesia syndrome. The word hyperesthesia literally translates to too much feeling. Imagine your own skin being so overly sensitive that a gentle stroke suddenly feels like a painful electric shock. It can be incredibly distressing and traumatizing for the animal, often linked to underlying nerve pain, severe spinal arthritis, or intense, unmanageable anxiety. When your cat suddenly turns back to viciously bite at their flanks or runs away meowing loudly in a panic, they are desperately trying to outrun a terrifying physical sensation they simply cannot control. A healthy, happy cat is a remarkably meticulous creature, spending a massive, dedicated portion of their waking hours carefully grooming their beautiful, sleek coat. But what happens when that daily, instinctual ritual suddenly stops? If your previously pristine, gorgeous cat suddenly develops a dull, greasy, or deeply matted coat, it is absolutely not out of laziness. A cat suffering from painful osteoarthritis in their delicate spine or hips simply cannot twist and turn their bodies to reach those hard-to-get spots anymore. It physically hurts them too much to bend. On the flip side, what if they begin to groom entirely too much? If you see your cat obsessively, relentlessly licking their soft belly, paws, or legs until the fur becomes thin, broken, and completely patchy, they are very often trying to self-soothe an internal, hidden pain or severe psychological stress. The physical act of licking releases calming, feel-good endorphins in their brain, so they frantically groom to self-medicate the deep ache of a bladder infection, the itch of severe skin allergies, or profound, overwhelming anxiety. Your cat is a magnificent, deeply resilient, and beautiful creature. They have evolved over thousands of years to be fierce, capable predators, instinctively cloaking their deepest vulnerabilities behind a breathtaking veil of mystery, silence, and grace. But beneath that wild, untamed exterior, they rely completely and totally on you. When they stop leaping joyfully to their favorite sunlit windowsill, when their long whiskers pull tight across a tense, wincing face, or when they stand silently in a corner, pressing their precious head against a cold wall, they are finally lowering their protective guard. They are trusting you with their most closely guarded, terrifying secret, their pain. Learning to read these quiet, subtle whispers of distress is the most profound, beautiful act of love you can ever offer them. You aren't just their owner, you are their guardian, their translator, and their ultimate safe harbor.